We're here on the Rebelcast, and today our guest is Steve Kalayjian. Steve, you are our first guest that we were referring to as FundRebels from Other Mothers. We're going to tell you a little bit about what FundRebel is, but why don't you take us through who you are and what makes you you, what type of business you do.
Sure.
And why don't we start from there? Love to hear about it.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate this. You know, other than the traffic coming into New York City, I'm so super
Unavoidable.
excited.
Badge of honor.
Yeah. So let me put it this way. So I've been very blessed in my life since the age of 13. I knew I had a gift. I had a photographic memory, and I never really knew how to apply it. But I did, you know, because I would, you know, I loved the game of baseball. I went to a Met tryout. They liked me. They actually wanted me to, you know, after high school to sign with the New York Mets and not even go to college. But then certain things happened with me, and I loved the game of baseball. I loved the discipline. I loved everything about the game that actually, to be honest with you, as a trader, I took into the game of trade. So the game of baseball I took into trading. And who I am, well, I'm a simple guy. I have a heart the size of Montana. I love to help people. I have passion. I'm a workaholic per se because I love what I do. And I love building things. I'm a visionary. I can't even tell you the things I came up with way before the people have come to, you know, brought it to the forefront. Right now, at this stage of my life, at 60 years old, I've been blessed to be in the industry for 40 years. I was noted as being one of the #1 day trader in the world for close to 4 years, traded nearly 2 billion shares in my life. And I moved markets. And I just loved it. I loved the fact that every single day was a different day. And that stemmed from the day I was 16 years old. My father said, come to the work with me one day. I said, sure. And I was walking up the floor of the American Stock Exchange. I heard Octave Dies. I said, Dad, what's the Octave Dies? He said, October, November, December, you idiot. I said, well, this is going to be a good day, I said. And your
father was a trader, stockbroker?
He was a broker on the floor of the American Stock Exchange. And then from there, I went to college, University of Maine. I had some offers from some schools, and I decided I shifted from baseball to football like an idiot. And then I got hurt, my lower back. And I came home, and I went to a community college just to figure out my life, and I got a D in economics. I never forget this day. I came home, I picked my books up over my head, and I threw them across the room, and they hit the window, and the window went, whoa, 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 whoa. My father said, what are you, nuts? That's it, you're getting a job on Wall Street. So my father's good friend was Peter Kellogg. I walked in, he said, who are you? I said, Jack Kalayjian. So he goes, Marge, you got him a badge. And that was it. And I started making like $150 a week, and I had 2 other jobs working as a waiter and valet parking cars, and I hustled. But I knew that I loved the industry from the day I stepped foot on the floor, because every single day is a different day. And I wanted to always challenge myself. And eventually, throughout my career, I became a member of the New York Stock Exchange, and then I worked on 4 different exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange, Amex, New York Stock Exchange, Comex, and Board of Trade. And then I made a phone call to a friend, and he said, come on in. And the guy says to me, I love you. He was a little office, brand new building in Battery Park City. You would see the Statue of Liberty, and it was 3 guys, me and these other 2 guys, trading his capital. He was the first. There should be a statue for this guy. This was the first guy who decided to build proprietary trading upstairs. And it was three idiots, me, Sal, and John. And then I don't know, after 1 year, I made him $1.9 million. I said, Joe.
And how did you do that?
Because I met a guy named Steve on the Comex, who was the biggest gold trader in the world, practically. And how I knew that, because when you stand on the outside step, those guys are the biggest traders. And he told me a story one time, and it translated into consistency. So basically, he just got married. His wife was pregnant. He was a clerk making $500 a week. He said, I got to do it now or else I'll never do it. He gave up his job, leased a seat, went into the gold pit as a local, which means you're looking up and nobody's trading with you. You're lucky you do 10, 15 trades a day, if that, because if you're a Revco selling 100 lot in gold, you want to go 50-50 like that. You're not going to go 50-30, 29-1 like that. And then you don't want any out trades. So I know people don't know what I'm talking about, but it just rolls off my tongue. So basically he made $100 a day. And then the next month, 200, then 300, then 400. And we made his money, he stopped. So I said, okay, I'm going to do what Steve did. So the first day I started trading, the irony of the story is I was actually got money in Compact Computer, and I gave it to my friend Joey to sell it. He forgot to sell it, and I lost $300 that day, so I was devastated. And the irony is because I became the #1 day trader in the world in Compact Computer years ago. I used to do up to 10% of the volume. And then next thing I know, I was making $100 a day. Then the next week, 200, then 300 a week, then 400, then 500, then 1,500, 17. And then I made like $1.8 million. And then I said to the guy, I said, Joe, I wanted to say thank you for everything you've given me, the ability to do this. I said, can I ask you a favor? You know I'm leaving. I started my own firm, Tiger Securities. And he said, can I get my check? He says, yes, Stevie. I said, Joe, I know we discussed 70-30, but can we do 50-50? He said, Stevie, you deserve it. Here's a check for $875,000, $900,000, whatever the number was. This is back in 1991. And I said, Joe, can I ask you one more favor? He said, sure, Steve, whatever you want. I said, can I take the chair I was sitting in? He says, absolutely. So I carried it down 7 flights of stairs. The elevator was broken because it was my lucky chair.
So where'd you set up the new office at that point?
In the Manhattan Towers on 52nd and Lex, I think it was. 52nd and Lex. I was trading there. Then I moved to Rockland County. And then for 10 years, I didn't have a losing, nearly 10 years, I didn't have a losing month or a losing year. And then the exchanges went, then I literally, I was fighting with the specialists. It just got to me. And then I wanted to build software for myself. I took 9 years I took 1 year, and then it took me 9 years to really, I said to myself, I live the same day over and over again. So eventually I think it kind of hit me that there are patterns in the market. If I have patterns in my day, there are patterns in the market. There are things that happen during the day that repeat themselves. So I started seeing it. And after 1 year, I didn't see anything. And then during the third quarter of the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day, I told my wife, I'll see you later. I'll be going to the office. I never looked back. And it took me 8 years later. So I built now, to me, I can see things.
Did you not go back to your wife, or did you not go back to the office?
I didn't go back. No, I didn't go back.
Just wanted to clarify.
No, I left the house, meaning I came back to my wife, and my kids.
It's probably the good choice.
I just said, I'm leaving on New Year's Day. He goes, where you going? We got to eat. I'm leaving. I'm going. Something hit me. So I went into multiple time frames. So a lot of things came at me. And then next thing I know, but now what I've done is, because I've been given such a gift, and I feel so blessed that I have such a passion for the industry. I probably have more passion now than I even when I first started. And the thing that hits me now is I don't want to see people struggle anymore. I want to help people. I wanted to be a surgeon, actually. That was my heart. I really wanted to be a surgeon after baseball, but I didn't have the money or the mindset to sit in 6 years of college. But now I help people, and I help people correct their mistakes. I teach them. I'm changing their lives. I'm helping them make money on a daily basis. I'm everything what Steve taught me about being consistent is what I do now. To be consistent every single day of your life, make the right decisions, learn, don't guess. Why is this happening? Why is this pattern happening? So I stream every day from 9 to 4. I love it. I stand all day long, and to me, there's no greater gift in the world. And my phone blows up. I give my phone number out to the whole world. So it's not like Tom Brady giving his phone number and you get a marketing company. You actually get me. And I talk to people. I know it could be not scalable, but I do the best. There has not been a time I've never called or texted anybody back. So I built a company called Trade Easy. And it's about really taking the empoweredness of a human being, teaching them something that could help change their lives, whether they want to intraday trade, intermediate term trade, long term, and then basically, from all the people I know in the industry, they all want to, eventually when I build this right, pile in and be that type of a platform, educational/dynamic learning and streaming. So that's me. And as far as what I like, I love sports. My children are everything to me. I'm a simple guy. I just don't disrespect me, and then that's a problem. I just feel that, life is simple. Just enjoy every second, and I just want to help people and give back right now.
Amazing. Let me ask you, normally when people say day trading, I think it's just a general thought process in people's heads. That's somebody that sits there all day and is continuously trading nonstop. And unless somebody goes and wants to commit themselves to being this day trader and do that full time to that aspect, there's no point to even look into it. But what you're saying is with Trade Easy, it's not just for that guy. It's also for people that are on their Ameritrade app or whatever it is and just buying a couple different stocks, and they look at them, from time to time and have different plans.
So I teach people how to fish.
Okay.
So basically, it's not just about listening to me and me teaching during the day on some Bloomberg chart or a Yahoo chart. I have my own software. So people around the world have my software. I teach it. They could do it during the Tokyo session. They could do it during the European session. They could trade Forex. They could trade the night session during the Tokyo session. And it doesn't make a difference. I have people who just listen to me because they don't want to watch CNBC. And they want to know what I'm calling. Like today I said big buy divergences. All 4 ETFs are in buy mode. I know you don't know what I'm saying, but we're going up. People are like, well, the banks are going to fail, everything. Like, I have a gigantic community in Discord, thousands. And I'm like, listen, guys, trade what you see, no opinions, So I think the most important thing that I took from my youth till now is I incorporated the disciplines of a sport and incorporated into trading. Now, they also say most day traders fail.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you exactly why. Because it's the 8th wonder of the world. Most day traders fail because of the fact that they have a small amount of capital and they think they're going to get rich by buying like an option. Like, let's say they'll buy like a 270 call in NVIDIA on a Thursday, the stock's trading 259, and then next thing you know, they don't realize over the weekend you lose premium and they're buying an out of the money call. So when they come in on Monday, the stock's down 3, they lose everything because like that. So it's a flawed notion.
So you're just saying they don't know how to trade options.
Nobody should be trading options. No. In my personal opinion, options are for sophisticated trading. If you're trading like what we did today, I had a lot of people buy in the money calls in names like NVIDIA and all Microsoft. And after we got the big buy reversals, because they don't have the $25,000 for that PDT rule, but they'll buy credit spreads or or debit. They'll do so.
And when you said don't trade on your opinions, do what you see. You're talking about the way the market's moving.
Based upon my algorithm, I'm showing them. So I stand in front of 39 screens. So I go like this. I can see things like that. So I can basically. That's why I told you when I was 13. I had that gift having a photographic memory. So I didn't know where I was going to apply one day in my life, and that's how I became. Without that, I would never be able to be a great trader. But the thing is that for me, in seeing my whole studio, the way it's set up, and basically looking at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the Russell 2000, and the Dow 30 stocks, that's a lot. So I'm looking at the ETFs, I'm looking at the big stock, the big cap names, Microsoft's, NVIDIA, Amazon's, Apple's, you name it, Netflix, Boeing, Goldman, Coinbase, Square, Roku, Tesla. So people, just to give you an example, the average retail trader trades about 4 times a month. My traders trade about 5,000 times a year. People from around the world. These are retail traders. This is music to the member firm community because they can't give investment advice. I don't give investment advice. I'm teaching. But and I talk about real estate with them constantly. I'm a firm believer in real estate. I mean, maybe not at these levels. I think the PE ratio right now is high on the market. I think the second and third quarter is going to be a bloodbath. And
I think capitulation is starting to trickle in a lot of different areas. You just have to be able to take advantage of that and be able to understand what's going on with the markets and why it was where it was then, and this is why it's here now. And then you can be able to make it informed.
Mark, I got to tell you, I'm doing this 40 years. My good friend came up to me and said, I got to thank you. I said, what's the matter, Chris? He said, you're welcome for whatever I did. He said, 5 years ago, you told me you have to think like them. I said, what do you mean? He says, you always say you have to think like them. Because you have to think like the way the Federal Reserve is. And you have to think like the mindset. Remember, pension funds are underfunded right now. Okay? the Federal Reserve completely missed the boat here. The S&Ps were 48.08, and the CPI was 9%, and the Fed funds were 0 to 0.25%. And I'm screaming at everybody, hit the bid. They're going to raise rates like this. Market's going to get kabooshed, right? I thank God 17 or 15 to 18 people listen to me. Now, these are family members I'm just talking to. Brian, Uncle Steve's telling you, you got a lot of cabiola in that account. I think they're getting hit, and they did 1,300 points on the S&P. So they went down to, below about 28,500. See, the thing is, when I say they got to think like them, like there was no reason for the market to rally today. Market rally today because $30 billion went into FRC.
And $50 billion went into Credit Suisse.
Yeah. I mean, so all they're doing is kicking the can down the road. It's just, so right now we have a $4 trillion.
There's no solution.
There's no solution. Bingo. There's no solution. They make Bernie Madoff look like a chipmunk, what they did here. They have absolutely torn apart because the game is too big to fail.
Yeah, it's like they're so scared of outcome. It's like a drug addict that if he goes and takes away all his drugs, he's going to get really sick, but instead you just keep giving him a little bit more drugs to keep him normal.
You just got to keep him on, just keep him
at an even keel.
Keep him even keel. Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was scary. The market looked like it was going to go to 3,500 on the S&Ps, and boom, you see, I know people don't believe it, but the plunge protection team comes in and they stop the market
Flip
from
the
going
breaker.
down. So, no, it's the Federal Reserve doing it.
So what about when market flips the breaker and they halt trading? Because all I can say, it's more of a question because I'm certainly not a professional trader by any stretch of the imagination, but in earlier iterations of market cycles, only in the last maybe decade have at least I recognized that I see, they're halting trading. When something is getting too much of a run on it, they halt the trading.
So the FRC got halted like 5 times.
Doesn't that kind of just fly in the face of free market capitalism a little bit?
I totally agree with you. So I'm a big proponent that no one should be able to speak during live market hours. Like the Federal Reserve, sometimes I have 5 speakers. I'm like, shut up. You're really only supposed to speak on the Wednesday meeting once a month. There's no reason for you to talk. Okay, there's no reason for any economic numbers to come out like oil or ISM numbers or nat gas numbers like during market hours. All numbers should be before markets or after markets, and no Fed governor, non-voting or voting, should be able to speak prior to the market opening.
Why is that? Because it affects the market.
Oh my God, these guys! Oh
massive.
What do you mean? The swings are huge.
No, I understand.
Huge.
So they're expecting the markets.
Like Bullard can come out and say that, like he did. He absolutely did. He did his press conference one day, and then I think 35 minutes later, I remember it was 4:07, we got killed on a trade because he made a comment on a tweet, and they dropped 40 handles on the S&P. I'm like, why are you talking? It's like ridiculous. And so I think I agree with exactly what you're saying, that markets should be free. So like when COVID hit, I have actually pictures of a negative 3,000 Dow. So they halted trading to try to calm them. Markets should be free,
How about with all the GameStop and all of that stuff?
Let it go. This is a live market. Do you stop breathing during the day?
No. So how do we get away? How do they get away with it? Meaning
how? You make me president, I firewall about everyone.
but it's not political, right? The Federal Reserve is political. But the the Federal Reserve. The chairman,
most political organization on the planet.
I know, but they're supposed to be apolitical, right? They're supposed to be on their own.
Allegedly.
That's why I said to you before, you got to think like them.
The IRS is called the service, guys.
Yeah,
the reality though, I think, is that we have entered a period of time in the last, call it, decade and a half, where everything is so high definition and instantaneous in terms of conveyance of information, good, bad, factual, not, false, whatever you want to call it, that we've found ourselves in a place where leadership understands how fast the dominoes can go down. So they intervene when they shouldn't be, and they monkey and they meddle with things when they necessarily shouldn't, in order to prevent massive amounts of psychological panic. And now we've gotten used to that since the last meltdown. and since COVID, and since every other historical event that happens seemingly every week,
But
that
the banks,
they can't change. They
nobody
can't
wants
change.
Look at the banks. The last thing you want, and I mean, maybe I'm talking for myself here, but too big to fail. You can't have a run on the bank.
You're right.
If people don't
Let me
trust
ask
in
you
the
a question.
dollar or where they're
You go to the bank now. I can't pull out $15,000 out of a bank. First of all, they probably don't even have it.
15 you might be able to, but more. I think you have to wait weeks.
You have to wait
order
and
it
you have
ahead
to
of
say
time.
what you're
One
doing.
time I asked for 50,000. I think I had to call.
can't.
They told me I had to wait 2 days to get the money.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have to fill out a form.
Yeah.
as to
That
what
gets submitted.
it's the
They don't have the
anti-money
money.
laundering or
Yeah, it's,
whatever.
well, it's
They
my
wanna make
money.
sure-
I got X amount of dollars. I'm like, give me my money.
No,
No, it's like you're, and then if they ever go to the stupid this token they're thinking about, oh, forget it. They'll know everything.
Well, what about- Ponzi scheme. It's over.
What about the change the Federal Reserve is making on instantaneous clearinghouse? Have anybody heard or read about this? Because this is terrifying.
Yeah, that's, I don't like any time the Federal Reserve does anything. They should be fired. They should be dismantled. The 30-year bond market dictates the national interest rates. So if you look at the 30-year bond, that is, or the 10-year bond or the 5-year notes, those are the real markets. Mortgage rates and anything related to CDs or money markets accounts should all be predicated off the real natural market, not where a Federal Reserve chairman jumps up and down like a baboon, says 2% inflations are, and then watches it go to 9, doesn't do anything because, why? I'll tell you exactly their thinking. Their thinking was high asset prices will adjust the high rate of inflation. But they didn't figure exactly what happened in 08 when people were taking out, secondary mortgages or lines of credit to buy boats and this and that.
Everybody's
and
underwater.
Boom, everything got kabooshed. So there's a lot of flaws in the system. But here's the thing. The biggest flaw that nobody really talks about in my 40 years of experience, I wouldn't put your money in a mutual fund. It's a joke. I'd rather have you buy the underlying ETFs. You're a young guy. So just position ETFs, market drops, you buy a little bit, drops more, you buy a little bit, and then you trade out of it. You just trade it. They make you feel like that they know what they're doing. It's to me, you're creating a job. Creating a job of people making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, running money, and all they're doing is buying. As the inflows come in, they got to put the money to work. They don't care where the market is. They don't care. And they tell you this, long term. Mm-hmm. Long term to me is 30 minutes, in trading. Actually, 15 is like 30 minutes is a lifetime. 15 minutes is.
So with that mindset, how do you reconcile it against your also being a fan?
That's
of real
why I
estate?
built Trade Easy, to take the people to say, hey, listen, if you could generate 0.5% a day trading with me or 1% trading, you're going to outdo these guys.
But I'm saying, how do you reconcile having your structure mentally built in a way where 15 minutes is a long time? Mm-hmm. How do you also reconcile it against an asset class like real estate? Because you mentioned earlier that you're a fan of real estate.
No, I'm a firm believer in real estate. I'm believe because my grandfather was the largest Italian importer in the world. And he said, Stephen, people got to eat and people got to sleep somewhere. I said, yes, Grandpa. So, I don't care about mutual funds. You know what I'm saying? They're on the bottom of my list here. They're like, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Look, I told you back in 08, I wanted to create a fund to buy oceanfront property. When the blank was hitting the fan, Mark, I said, I'm buying Florida real estate, ocean only. I was in Naples. I was on Gulf Boulevard. I was down in Miami. I was in everywhere looking at properties just to buy. I put a bit, I'm sick to my stomach because I went down to Florida for my own money. I wanted to buy this beautiful condo. You had the canal on the left, the Gulf of Mexico here. My patio was like 18 by 39, 30, 40, overlooking, second floor. I walked down from maybe 40 feet, I was on the beach. I bid $1 million cash. Person said $1 million, it was $1.9 million. They came down to $1.5 million. I went $1.1 million. They went down to $1.3 million. Finally it was like a $50,000 discrepancy. I said, nope, I pass. An idiot, now it's $4 million. But the thing is that for $50,000, I balked on it. But I knew that real estate is an asset that people need to have.
But it's very difficult to trade unless you're buying,
low.
Yeah, I mean, What am I buying?
or at least volume.
Or exactly.
Stocks or real estate?
In real estate, you can't buy. I mean, like I must have said this on our last discussion that we've had once. I said my dad used to tell me, why can't you do what I did? I said, what do you do? He goes, I bought my house for $80,000. Yeah, the rates were 13,000. 13%. It was high, and I said, but I bought it. I said, but look, it's now worth $1.5 million, $2 million. I said, Dad, find me a place that's worth $80,000.
There are places. You just got to look. I mean, you're not going to go if you're looking to buy Florida. I mean, how many people a day are moving to Florida and Texas?
Yeah, we're from believers of Florida.
I'm born and raised in Miami, and for some reason I ended up in New York.
What are you, crazy?
On my way back.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got, the good Lord is calling me there, man. This I hope is my last winter. But, okay, so that's a perfect example. Like, look at a condo I bought for like $400 and change, and now it's worth about $650, $700. You're going to top ticket at $700 and hold it?
But a person making $50,000, $60,000 a year is not putting down money. They don't.
No. Oh, that. I thought you were talking about the fund.
A person,
and everything.
So like a person who has like $50,000, $60,000, right? Mm-hmm. They want to get into real estate. They can't get into real estate.
That's why we created FundRebel.
Yeah, that's
correct.
true. FundRebel is
buy securities, and they have actual ownership in the properties. They
that's an investment they have, and that's something that they have for the future. Now, to answer your question, you may have $50,000. I know a woman right now bought a place down $60,000, $70,000 in Florida, $350,000 home, $290,000 home. They're out there. Got to fix them up.
Yeah, it just may not be in the locations you want.
You may not have living.
You might be living in Opelika,
Rock, or the Grand Florida. The Fountain
Nothing wrong
Blue.
with Opelika.
Okay, in Miami, but you go deep inland in Florida, in Orlando, and places like that.
Go to Lakeland.
Lakeland. My friend lives in Lakeland. I mean, there's properties there. It's just, what do you want? So if you have $50,000
to buy it as an investment property, I mean, would you buy in Lakeland to buy an investment property for $50,000?
Why not? People and rent it out.
There's a right price in every market.
Yeah, there's a right price in every market.
Obviously, the higher markets have more demand. That's why they're going to be more expensive, and people want to live there. But over there, as long as there is a circle that has people in there that want to buy properties, there's a price. You just have to be able to understand.
100%. I agree with Mark 100%. Yep. You could buy in Lakeland a home for $250,000. You could buy in Ohio for $250,000. Okay, you left.
No, I'm from my family's from Cincinnati, so I know it quite well.
You could buy a home for $250,000, put $50,000 down. You have a mortgage of $200,000. You're renting it out maybe $1,300 a month. Maybe it just breaks out even with the tax and everything like that. But in 30 years, hopefully it pays off.
I just had a crazy realization. Alan is Midwestern.
Well, if you talk to my dad,
that is terrifying.
Get me the gym shoes. No, I'm from Rockland County originally.
Oh, Rockland?
But he lives in Brooklyn.
I live in Brooklyn now.
See? Okay, I'm close.
He does live in Brooklyn.
Family via
By the way,
Cincinnati.
it's funny you said it. So Howard Marks even said something. I think it was the book he wrote The Most Important Thing, which is a pretty great book. He talked about people buying whole life policies. Mm-hmm. He goes, don't buy whole life policies. He goes, you know what you do? When you have a kid, go buy a house. Doesn't matter if it's a $200,000 house or a $50,000 house. Rent it out. Mm-hmm. And when they want to get married, or they want to go to college or afterwards, sell the house. And you're going to do a lot better on that than a whole life policy.
So how many houses do you have, Mark?
Well,
I'll not go there right now.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'll tell you why. When my kids were born, when my son was born, I bought a $1 million whole life policy for him. It cost me like $3,000.
All right.
As my daughter was born, I bought another $1 million whole life policy for her. Okay. Then I got a guy knocking on the door. We'd like to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, what's this about? Like, you're buying policies for your kids. I'm like, I'm not whacking my kids. Yeah. You stupid bastard, get out of here.
Who knocked on your door?
Oh, some agent, thinking, interviewing me, why are you buying
policies on your kids?
I go, what do you think? I'm going to whack my kids? Get out of here. But hit you over the head with a bat, you lunatic. Get out of here.
Get out of here before I take out a policy on you.
Whack you one. No, but I'm serious. It's like, so in that regard, because they've appreciated a lot. And that's something.
So let's say, what was your annual cost for one of those policies?
$3,000 each.
Okay, so $3,000 each, right?
I'm going to put $3,000 on a house.
So I was just going to go with the first 5 years. So it's $15,000. Let's say we're $15,000. Let's say you bought yourself a $60,000 house, right? So from the $60,000 house.
Yeah, then there's no house for $60,000.
20 years ago, how old are your kids?
23 and 21.
That was
no.
Guess. So at 24 years ago, you couldn't buy a $60,000 house somewhere.
In Baltimore and Detroit only.
Maybe,
And you can still buy it in Baltimore.
you can still buy it in
You can still
Baltimore.
buy it
I'm
for
just
20
saying,
grand.
maybe like
24
in,
years
in
ago,
Alaska
you could have went to
and
Opelika, could have went to Hialeah, could went to a lot of places in Florida, in Orlando. 100%, you buy a house.
okay, but let's say
Section
I bought
8
a
and you're
place. I bought a place. Okay, but that's 3,000.
Either way, I understand
No,
what
but
you're
hold
saying.
on,
I understand
hold
what
on.
you're saying.
3,000. But hold
Are
on.
you also incorporating depreciation?
Yep.
You have it's depreciation on your assets every year from your
That's
your
true.
real estate?
You don't do that. But hold on. At the time,
And
I
you could
put
have income.
$3,000
How about
down.
income?
No, but at the time,
But
I
after
put
10 years, it's paying for itself already. And after
Yeah, I don't have
that,
enough to-
they at
the
20
whole
years
life.
old, they can borrow against it. They can buy
Yeah,
their
I
own
think
house
one-
We're
against
in
their.
live right now.
Yeah,
I
but-
would side by side at an Excel sheet.
But hold on one second. No, but right now those policies are about $1.6 million, $1.7 million each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can borrow. There's like a real cash value in that.
But I'm just making a point that at the time when I put the money down, yeah, I could have bought properties for them at the time and gifted it to them or whatever, like that. And I just had a lot of assets that I already giving them. But the thing is that at the time I just wanted them to have something like if they ever had a family one day that would be
The way to do it.
the way to
That
do
is
it.
the way to do it. You have to set them up
100%.
some way. Whichever way you're going to do it, whatever,
And now they have all my properties, so now they're pretty damn good now anyway. So
Now you have to worry about them buying
I gotta worry
policies
about
on
me
you.
now.
Yeah, they're in the condo right now in Florida that he bought.
Yeah, he is.
Is he? There you go.
Yeah, he's a Florida resident with Florida plates, that son of a gun.
There you go.
So I can't believe your father has been dying to go to Florida for 30 years and you beat me to it.
Where's Steve sitting over here paying state income tax?
I love it. No state income tax.
Yeah.
Great. I love the state. I love the people. I love the weather. I love the ocean.
Ronnie DeSantis knows what he's doing.
Oh, he's a smart man.
So how do you think, Steve, that everything that's been going on, I mean, we're going to say post-COVID, whenever that might have actually occurred, early 2021 to today, but especially the events of the last couple of weeks in the market, how do you think this is going to have an influence, just personal, we don't have to get political, but on how leadership is right now in the country and what direction leadership ultimately gets influenced
Don't get
to?
political.
Yes, just don't get that
Oh
political.
my God, it's gonna be hard for me. I gotta, well, I don't,
Say whatever you need to say.
I think there was a poll that 78% of people don't like the way the direction the economy is going or the way the country is going right now. So that I actually saw on TV. So and I'm in that camp.
That's low.
So no,
It should be higher. It should be higher.
No, it's at 78%, but maybe higher. But I'm
I'm sure it is
I
70.
will say that I'm in that camp. I don't like the direction of the country that we're going. I don't like what I'm seeing. I think that things are broken, and I think that we're significantly weakened around from the eyes of others around the world. So I'll keep a very, very even keel here. I don't like it. Nothing really I can do about it. I think Americans are seeing things now that they're scratching their head. And
Chicago finally did something right.
oh, bro, that's brutal there. I mean, but you don't
But they got
know.
rid
One
of
of
her.
them is just, from what I understand, on the runoff, one of them has her views and the other one doesn't. So you got to be careful here. You
Yeah.
don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, specifically because the amount of just mayhem and homicide that has emerged in that landscape.
Crazy.
And they've lost some of their biggest business constituents. Citadel, you guys pushed Citadel out of Chicago. That's a mistake. Caterpillar is leaving Chicago. That's a mistake. I mean, these are things that create jobs. These are major
Why
job
are
providers.
people leaving California? You're paying 56 cents on your hard-earned money. Okay. Now I hear they want to give $5 million to
Reparations.
Well, I'm Armenian. Where's my money?
Yeah.
Where are the Jewish people? Where we
We
just
can go down every ethnic
Yeah,
group
exactly.
and say,
where are the
Yeah.
the Indians and the people from the 1800s that they say, well,
they got
we
the
took down
casinos,
land.
right?
Yeah, and that
We
was
gave them
enough,
the
right?
casinos,
Just
right.
just that and the cigarettes.
But why
Unbelievable.
so I look at things because I'm a visual person, right? Why are people leaving California to go to Texas or Florida? Okay, why?
Because you're a minority partner in your own life if you live in those jurisdictions.
Correct. Well, there's other reasons besides that. Yes, but that could be part of it. But people are going. Why am I leaving New York? I'm leaving New York because number one, my son's there. Number two, I love it there. I mean, I feel alive there. Like on a night when it's like snowing, I got friends of mine calling and hanging up on me, laughing at me, like, "Oh, it's 82. We're outside at a bar in Miami and we're hanging out." I want to hang out with Mark in Miami on a Thursday night, bro. You know,
I make those phone calls to everybody all the time.
I know you joke around with them, and then you torture them. They torture me. I go like this, you know. I'm screaming at them. I'm texting like, thanks, you know. No, but you just feel like you feel alive down there. You feel different. You feel this. You smell the ocean. You feel, the sun gives you so much energy. Here, it's just like I want to put my head in the microwave and press high. I just feel that it's just dismal.
It's always gray.
Gray, right?
For at least 6 months of the year.
6 months.
I mean, even today driving was 60 degrees driving in, but it's like.
But the flip side is when you're in Florida and it is hot in the summertime.
Okay, so 2-3 months, bro. I mean,
your brain can atrophy a little bit in Florida. A little
Listen,
bit.
when we were just in Florida for a trip, we were looking at some properties. I'm sitting outside, I think in the morning on the way out with Hussein, and I'm like, are you not happier right now standing here about to go to work in the morning? Normally you get out there, you have your coat on, you're going to trek out to your office.
Put the armor on and get outside.
And now you're just like, let's go.
Well, I think that there's definitely so many of what you just said, Steve. I mean, listen, the lifestyle component of it is a natural, like almost biological magnetism.
Right.
People prefer to have a warm, happy, like, people love the water. People love the access to the water where you can actually, take advantage of those sorts of things. But the comment that I made a few moments ago, when you really look at the metrics, you look at California and you look at New York, these are places that have been bastions of culture, bastions of enterprise, places that gave rise to some of the greatest empires that have ever been created in the free market. And over time, there's been this encroachment by governance that has, and this is not a railing against government. We need government in society. And I want to be clear that, my position is we need government, we need police, we need these things. But when you look at crossing a certain threshold of earning and you live in these high barrier to entry, high cost of living locales, and then you begin to analyze your rate and look at it, I stand by my comment. You're a minority partner in your own life. You have a place like Florida, you have a place like Texas. These have leadership that at a minimum are saying you can come here and we will help stimulate, catalyze, and offer opportunity for you to go and enterprise
and grow.
And what does growth and enterprise create? Growth and enterprise creates, no matter what industry, jobs. And the whole issue of jobs, employment, and everything else, you start taking away the incentive for people to go out and take risk, for people to go and build business and create gainful employment. That is the loosening of the underpinning of everything. And you have jurisdictions that are getting it right and jurisdictions that are getting it wrong. They can give $5 million in reparations for the wrongs that have been committed against demographic groups in this country. They can absolutely do that, but who's paying for that? When California...
$600,000
per person. When California is saying we have a 52% effective tax rate, and now if you made over a certain amount of wealth and you have departed the state, we're going to claw back up to 5 to 10 years backwards, no matter if you're no longer a citizen of that jurisdiction. You made money in tech, you left, you moved to Texas, we're coming after your money for the next decade.
This to me is so unbelievable. It just actually hurts my brain because the leadership is like, you're saying that you're not free to do whatever you want in this country. That means you're leaving California to go to Kansas, you're leaving California to go to wherever. And now you're being taxed and going back based
on you.
It's so wrong. And everything you said, I agree 1,000%. But there's one thing, the word that really, of all the things, is the leadership. Leadership is what's destroyed New York City. Leadership is what's destroyed California, in my opinion.
Yeah,
people can tell me I'm crazy, but there's no right and there's no wrong. It's the way you perceive it to be. But I'm going, hopefully one day, to Florida, where I believe leadership is great. And I love that leadership and the growth. And why are so many people moving to Florida? Not just because it's the weather. It's because they see opportunities. They see growth. Okay, I was saddened. There was a report about a week and a half ago of the hotel that all the illegals are being housed in. And there was this nice woman that came on TV that says, I have to close my business because my whole sidewalk is filled with people outside. Nobody comes in. And I did everything right by this country. And now I have to close up because nobody can come into my store. So you just heard a small business owner who worked her life for in a restaurant, going to probably lose a ton of money because God knows the lease and the rent and all the equipment and everything because of leadership that did not care about her. And that's why I got to get the hell out of here. Because it's just, to me, as much as I felt really sorry for that woman, it just really, I felt that there was no care.
But the problem I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, is that right now you have a good governor in DeSantis. You don't know what's coming next. DeSantis, God willing, he becomes president or he decides
people
doesn't
will vote. People will vote.
But the problem is that Florida as a whole is still a purple. They're purple. It's not pure red, and the problem is it swings.
Yeah.
And Florida naturally swung. I mean, New York up until Bill de Blasio, New York was a great place. It was safe. Jobs were
It was
booming.
clean.
I mean, you had Giuliani, and then you had Bloomberg. You had reason to be here. Right now,
tax abatements and
tax abatements that just ended. That just ended.
He just killed it, right?
Yeah,
she just killed it.
The senators.
There's no reason to be here. There's no upside. You have high crime. I cannot mention her name, but there's someone who's on TV that I know very well, personal friend of mine, and she had sold her apartment about 4 months ago, and she said that she just couldn't believe that she would come out of her building and she saw a man urinating right in front of her outside of her building. And she said, that's it, I'm done here. I can't do this no more. I'm leaving. And there's no reason to be here.
To have gone through the cycles of, in the early 80s to mid 80s, seeing what the city looked like, and then watching the arc under the, original article, Giuliani, and then Bloomberg, and see how it got polished into the diamond that we all know that it is. That is something, and then to see it go back down afterwards, it's truly breathtaking to have seen that. I remember as a very young kid walking around Midtown with my father occasionally and seeing hypodermic syringes on the street.
Yep.
Then for a solid 20 to 25 years, you don't see anything.
Nothing.
It was
And
pristine.
now-
Watching
pristine.
them rebuild the West Side Highway, which was a garbage dump.
Garbage dump.
It was disgusting.
Absolutely.
My daughter-
And now, hypodermics on the street again. It's truly unbelievable.
No, it's sad. My daughter, who's 21 at University of Georgia, she wants to be a doctor, thank God. And she said, about 2 years ago, she said to me, Daddy, I want to really, once I graduate, after my MCATs, I want to go in medical school in New York. Now she's completely shifted. She's completely shifted. Like literally, her and her girlfriends were taking the subway. I said, call me when you get down there. She called me. I go, I want you, all four of you sitting on the bench. I don't want you leaning, looking at the train. The train comes, it stops. You get off the bench. You wait for people to come out, and you go in. Because they don't have street smarts, a lot of them, the other three. And my daughter, because she knows I'm freaking crazy. But the thing is that I had to coach her and the girls to sit on the bench, wait for the train to come in, the subway. Doors open, then you go in. That's how insane. Because
I don't let my boys. I have boys, and my 16-year-old. At 16, I was taking the buses. I was taking the train everywhere. He's petrified. He won't get on. He won't wait by a bus stop, and it's just sad because New York was thriving. You couldn't
before de Blasio.
Yeah. And then he came in and just undid everything.
So let me ask you this: with this recession imminent, or whatever it is that we want to call it, and all these horrible things happening, and the market going where it is, how do you trade and still make money?
Oh my God. Like we had big buy reversals today on names. I mean, I have, it's all pure mathematics what I look at.
So for you don't care if the market's up or down.
I don't care.
Right.
I want volatility. I don't care.
Yeah, I hear you. Movement is where you make your spread.
Your S&Ps we pulled into 71 on that trade. But the trade before that was 58, 59, 60. Boom, 80 bid. So it's a huge move. 22 points. I mean, even if you caught 10 of that, that's monstrous.
Yeah. No, because it's normally when you speak to regular people, you're sitting around dinner, you're talking about the market. Oh my God,
I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed.
I'm not doing anything. That's because that's not how you're supposed to work the market.
In my personal opinion, I understand people have full-time jobs. Who's a doctor? I have a dentist. This is a true story. I have a dentist. I can't mention his name. Between patients, he's trading. He has a cap going on, a filling here, an anesthesia. He's telling me, Stevie,
Taking a break, running in the room.
he's running around. I just, he says, I just bought him here. Boom, 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 boom. But I get it. But most people, because like my one of my attorneys, Vinny, he's a lawyer. He's in court. He's in federal court. Blah blah blah. He doesn't have time to sit in front of a machine and watch or listen. But most people listen to me during the day, even if they're not in the market or if they're young kids in college or anything. Yeah. They're learning. They're learning. They're listening to me as we're talking here. It's not, when it's not every minute there's a trade. Yeah. We talk about a lot of different things.
I love what you're doing with the Instagram Live thing. We have a partner of ours in Florida who's a pretty great day trader. I think you guys would be very interesting to hear them speak.
Yeah,
right?
I would love it.
And what's his name? We're not going to say.
We'll tell you offline.
Either way. So basically, there were people that wanted to get into industry and would request just to go and sit there next to him while he traded for a while, just to watch and learn. And anybody could just do that. They just jump on your on your Instagram page or wherever it is that you're going live on.
I do Instagram Live from 9:15 to 9:45 because on my website people were gaming me. I would give a 3-day free trial, and then they would just keep changing their emails, And I'm like, oh, come on, guys, really? No more free. I just do 15 minutes of a live market, and that's it. And then if you like me, you come on. That's the end of it. Because, come on, I mean, like I'm giving you my blood, And so, and I got to tell you, I mean, literally, my phone blows up, 50 to 100 people a day. Some days, maybe more messages and people wanting to learn. It's the edutech space is going to grow to $405 billion by the year 2030. So that's why, like, when I'm talking to a big family office in another region of the world, they love this because this resonates with them, and they see the huge growth potential for this, okay? And I'm less than a cup of coffee a day. So, I mean, Starbucks is more expensive than me, and I do it because I care about people. I want people to learn. I want people to make it affordable. But if I can help change their lives in a very minute way, cost factor, I think this will help them.
I think that specific element, Steve, of what you're doing in trading is exactly why, we make the comment that you're a FundRebel. Because
I want a t-shirt.
Because you'll get a t-shirt, you'll get a hat too, maybe even a hoodie.
Got a hoodie for you.
Philosophically, what we are here to do in our industry is the same thing, because people do not have access or visibility into these industries. You can watch YouTube, you can watch the market, you can watch someone like you. You can learn about the stuff in the periphery, but to then get actual market penetration access into the things that really move markets. In our world, people can say, I'm going to buy real estate. I'm in real estate. What are you buying? I'm buying a house.
So,
okay, you're buying a house. In us, we don't do houses. We do large commercial blocks of apartments or retail or commercial or hospitality.
I think you guys are onto something very big, and trust me, I know I just met a couple of you here now. I don't BS anybody. If I didn't think you had anything, I just don't blurt it out. And so I just keep quiet, and I'm being honest. So I always use the analogy like you could be Procter & Gamble, and you can have the greatest product in the world, but it's stuck in a barn in Idaho, and nobody ever knows about it. I think what TradeEZ is doing and what you guys are doing is going to really be a disruptive. I think we're going to be disruptive components in the years ahead.
Respective fields.
Yeah, in respectful fields, because you're investing, I'm trading, I'm in, whatever, but you're giving someone an opportunity to change their lives, and that is just a phenomenal gift. There's nothing greater. I get goosebumps at the end of the day. My phone blows up. People around the world, I made my goal. I thank you. You've changed my life. Blah, 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 blah. I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I respond back to everybody. You did it, you did it, you did it. You put the hard work in, right? You're doing the hard work for others.
Right.
And you're doing this now.
Yeah.
I did the hard work already. I did my 9 years of research.
We looked at it as like these investors were trying to find the door for people to get into, but that door didn't exist, so we just figured that we
But you need to be out there.
Right.
Like, you need to have representation. Like, my good friend Richard Rubenstein from like Rubenstein PR. You know, he's one of my best friends, and these are people that can get the voice out there for you, or what I'm saying, plus the people you know and things like that. So you basically, I mean, I could probably think of probably so many people in my community that would go gaga for something like this. Take $1,000 or whatever the minimum is, 5,000, put it into something that they can see a dividend or a growth potential for the years to come. People want opportunities, but people want trust.
Yes.
People trust me. It's not because I care about people. They see the care. They see I call them. They see I talk to them. I talk to people one eye is on my Discord, one eye is on the markets.
No.
Okay.
You could have the greatest deal in the world, but if you have someone running that deal who just does not seem trustworthy,
it's over.
It's over.
Son.
It's OVA. I have it in my OVA. So it's trust is everything. Right. And if you can show people that, see, I think what people like about me is I'm not a phony. I don't bullshit nobody. I tell like it is. I'll scream at somebody, but out of tough love. I'm kind to people, but I'm not here to bullshit people. I'm here to help people. All hours of the night, my phone's ringing. I answer my phone. I don't give a shit who's around, you know? And I talk to people and I care. But they say, I can't believe you just spent 10, 15 minutes talking to me. I'm like, why not? Why not? See, what you're doing, people have to feel that. They feel the confidence level, the trust.
That's half the reason why we're sitting here. We want people to see we're not just, you know, when you look at someone's website of a company and you go and you just take a look at who the team is or who's involved in the company.
Yeah.
You see someone's screenshot.
Can I ever
with a
get in touch
paragraph
with Mark?
over
Can I get Mark? Can I talk to Mark? Can I talk to these guys? No. You got to make yourself available. Because if you do that, it's like this.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, look, I'm telling you, I'm in this 40 years.
We're doing this now close to 20 years. And how many times have people called us up for free advice? How many of our investors that we've had say, we don't know anything about real estate, but we trust you guys. So I have a deal that I'm about to go into. Can you do me a favor and look at it
Ask
for me?
Alan how many times I have to sit there in the corner for 45 minutes. I'm like, we start charging people for this.
Right.
And just, you know.
Well, I don't charge people for that.
No, we don't either. We don't either.
We don't.
It's just
You said something, Steve,
wanna help
that's
people.
so essential before, which is you teaching people how to fish. And I think that element of it, some people are afraid of the education quotient. They're afraid of having to educate people to things they don't know because the absorption time and the realization time may not fit your business model. But the truth of the matter is that if you do what you do and you do it well, and you allow people insight into that and gain the knowledge to try it for themselves, it becomes total self-fulfilling prophecy in the best kind of way.
Anything worth doing that's significantly hard, okay, if you apply yourself, great things will happen. Nobody's just going to hand you a check. I mean, unless you're a trust fund baby or something like that. But anything that I tell my kids, anything that is hard and you succeed at it, okay, worth doing will pay off. Absolutely. I tell people this is a marathon, not a sprint. And you got to apply yourself. I tell them two things. One, I'm not a mind reader. It means you got to communicate with me. I'm not a one-hit wonder, meaning just because I talk to you one time doesn't mean I'm never talking to you ever again, which is bullshit. I don't do that. And everything I'm teaching is based upon visualization and repetition. But what has history shown us? People need a place to live. You have a roof over your head. It's a hard asset, right? I am a firm believer. My son now is talking to a good friend of mine in North Carolina because the VA, you have to get certain houses built for the VA, and then he's talking to things like that. You know, my son, now 23 years old, says, Dad, you know, I can't wait to, you know, buy more real estate for myself and build a portfolio. I said, Stephen, you have 10 homes one day. You can sit back. So my son's friend got drafted #1 by the Red Sox a few years ago. And he said, Mr. K, I'm sitting here with about 5 pitchers from the Red Sox or whatever. what do you think they should do? I said, take all your money and buy real estate. I said to every single one of them, don't buy like a $5 million home, dopey, you know. I said, well, you can if you want, but I said, like,
depends how much they're making, but yeah.
Well, if you're making $30 million a year, I said, take all your money. I said, JJ, I said, oh, I shouldn't say his name. I said, take your signing bonus that you got, and you bought a condo in Fort Myers, buy 30 more. I told them, swear to God. Because baseball, you don't know if you're going to make it or not. And if you do make it, there's going to be a day you have to hang up those cleats. But you could be playing golf, having 20, 30 condos paid for, and just sitting back getting your money.
I agree.
And you know what he
I
said
thought
to me?
you were going to say,
hey, thank you so much.
I thought you were going to say, throw a couple of meatballs to Aaron Judge. And Carlo,
He's with the Padres now, so he'll be up to
I mean, I was going to say, out of everything you said, the most impressive thing is that you would take time out of your day to give any member of the Red Sox advice.
Oof.
That's very
That hurts.
That's very
he's with the
kind.
Red Sox. He just got traded to the Padres.
You know, with what
I
you
hope
guys,
that smooths you over.
there's something similar, I think, that we have with what you were talking about before. The entire reason that we started this podcast originally, which most of our episodes are talking about real estate and this and that. So it's not just that we invest with real estate and we want you to know who we are so you can invest with us. We're here to teach people how we look at things. So we've had, for example, episodes where we talk about a deal. We'll look at the deal. We'll talk about what we like about the deal. We'll question things about the deal. We'll say, you know, basically what our thought process is in our underwriting and how we approach things. And we want people to take that and learn from it to say, oh, these are things that I should look for in real estate. So at the same time, we hope that people invest and participate in our funds, but they're going to learn from us as well. And they could also recognize who we are. So I think that a teaching portion of it is very important because obviously we want to be out there to help people and have people access this information, which is exactly what you're doing. So the more we can help people and the more we could teach them about real estate, it's going to be valuable for us because it's going to help our company. Same with you.
Yep.
You created a company, which is a beautiful thing, that you're able to teach people and be able to profit at the same time. So when you were saying before about the whole fishing thing, I remember one time somebody said, like, again, I'm going to paraphrase whatever this, saying was, where you can help people two ways. Number one, you could write somebody a check, and that check's going to help them until it goes away. Or you could teach somebody how to make money, and that's forever. And
I think people are striving for ideas like what you're going to offer them, to be part of something, to be a part of a long-term vision or a growth of something.
Right.
Like my kids, they come to me and they say, Daddy, I just made $5,000. Like my son, he made a couple $1,000s over the summer. What can I do with this money? I'm like, well, save it. But now I can say, put in something like this. Mm-hmm. At 23 years old, God knows where it's going to be in 20, 30 years from now, right? It's a hard asset.
Right.
It'll accumulate. And that $1,000, $2,000 investment could be 25, 30, 50, 80,000, 100,000. Who knows where it could
Absolutely.
be in the years. I don't have a crystal ball.
We would never make any promissory or
No,
unworthy statements, but yeah, exactly.
No, nobody can.
It's
Look,
just
you can't make that. But it's an investment that you're making in a hard asset.
Correct.
In something that I firmly believe that, that people are going to need rental properties.
No, we're doing this for 20 years. We are buying the deals that we would buy for ourselves, period. And we're buying off-market deals that we are digging through our phone books and pulling whatever favors we can in order to be able to get the right meetings that we can to be able to pull these deals properly. So we're not just going out there and buying some property that's on the market and using everybody's money for it just because here's a commercial property. We're buying deals that we see value in the way we underwrite.
Measurable upside from day one is the way that we.
Well, I think that's and you again look what you're doing. You're doing the work for others, and you're giving them an opportunity to be part of something. It's phenomenal. I mean, there is difference compared to what you're doing, what I do. Mm-hmm. What you're doing the work for them.
Right.
I'm doing the work for them and teaching them, but they still got to do the work on their own. It's a little bit more on my end.
Again, that's forever because once they sit with you long enough and then they have a good.
Oh my God! I got people trading on their own now.
They have a career now.
Yeah, they're trading on their own now. I literally, like somebody said to me,
cheaper than college.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had like 15, 18 college kids. I'm like, I'm going to quit college. I'm like, no, you don't. You're not quitting college. I don't need your father calling me. You know. No, this has been great, guys. I really appreciate it, and I got to tell you, you know, I really wish you all the best, and I'm a big fan of you guys. You know, this is right up my alley. Look, I mean, I was in where was I? I was in one part of Florida on the West Coast. I came across a realtor. I said, you know what? I want to talk to you about an idea I have. I want to get all these pro athletes, because so there's a book, good guy I know, Richard put me in touch with. He wrote about 8 bestsellers. And one of the books he wrote is about a basketball player. I don't forget the guy's name. Yeah. Made $100 million plus. Now he works in a Starbucks in Boston. And so these athletes don't know what to do with their money.
They all buy themselves houses, but the problem is the houses that they're buying are houses that are not affordable when they finish the game.
Bingo.
The key is to buy and buy wisely. The key is not to buy.
But that's not just that, though. Take your money and buy rental properties.
Yeah.
So I told Rachel, I want to
start a fund to do that.
Start a fund to do this with me. And then all the Red Sox players went to, the season started, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, you know what?
So I have somebody who's actually doing that. The problem is because of all the scams that have gone on with pro athletes, the NBA, the MLB, and the NFL all have, you have to register
the
now.
FTX.
Oh, really?
You have to register now with the
To be certified?
To be certified that they vetted you to say, okay, you should invest with this guy.
By the way, that's horrible.
It's
horrible, and I'll tell you why. Because now they could only go and invest with people that are vetted by these organizations.
Well, you want the fact is, at the end of the day, the problem is there are a lot of predators out there, right?
Well, the problem is that
and they know that this guy just signed a signing bonus of $33 million, and he has $33 million sitting in his account. This guy is going to go.
He's a target.
He's going to come out. They're going to meet him. They're going to bump into him by accident.
Yep.
They don't know how they met him. They're going to go over to him. I have a great deal. The guy doesn't know anything. He's 21 years old, has his first signing bonus, and he doesn't know. He just knows he's got $31 million in his
I kind of agree with Mark on this. I don't think there should be anybody.
But the problem is it's happened in the NBA. It's happened in the NFL.
The problem is these are young guys with money.
Them.
It happened in the music business. Look at how many managers wiped out bands.
That's what I was going to say. So these young guys with money, the problem is when they look for financial advice, who do they have to speak to? Their agent, who's their only knowledge is sports and negotiating contracts and leverage and
Where's
sales.
their in-house
or their
parasite?
manager, whose only basic expertise is negotiating with the agent and convincing you to give them a contract and a percentage of your money.
But what's wrong? But what's wrong with meeting a criteria where you're holding yourself? You're offering a standard.
Because let me
and
ask
the standard
you,
passes
if
muster.
you are a fund or whatever type of investment vehicle that you are, and your objective out there is to go out there and make money for your investors, you're not necessarily running over to NFL players and sports people. You're probably with high net worth individuals.
But what you're missing here is
it's just not on the radar to even go
NFL
there. So they
and the
can't go talk to them.
NBA and the NHL, they're not saying you can't do whatever you want with your money.
But this company
it's
has
your
to
money.
go through a vetting process.
They're just offering
you want to be up on their website that these people are we approve. You have to go through a vetting
process. What happens if you're
process.
a small little Yoki from Cincinnati?
She's two people.
What?
The person I know who's done this, she and another person are only two people.
And then they go on the list.
So if they want to go and invest in a fund that's currently managing $15 billion, right? And this guy goes, oh, can you do me a favor and go get vetted? Because I have $500,000 I want to invest. Dude, I don't have the time for that.
That's not what I'm saying. If the player wants to go and invest in some fund that has $15 billion, he can do whatever he wants. He can go straight to that fund and say, here's the NFL, the leagues.
Bring solicitation?
If you want to know, these kids don't know any better. So instead of being a target, they say, okay, league, you're my
filter.
My filter. You tell me that these companies are okay to go with. I'm gonna pick which one I hit it off with. But if I want to go and invest in an ABC company,
should I more problems with that?
If I want to invest in ABC company,
I want to hear what you're gonna say.
If I want to invest in ABC company or whatever company I want, it's their money too. The NFL is not going to say no, you can't.
When you say the NFL or people that are vetting or organizations, all these you're talking about human beings, right? So that means that if in order for this person to vet and say you should put your money over here, they're putting their trust in them. There's value there. they're not just doing that out of the kindness of their heart as a nonprofit
But
organization.
that's not what.
But now they have,
There's
they have an
criterias.
incentive. They have an incentive that they can go speak to one of these things. Listen, if I say that your company looks good, that's going to be good for you. If not, it's a conflict of interest.
But
almost.
that's
making.
I think every money manager is like that. I mean, every single money manager, any money manager, whether it's from
Has to have a FINRA approval.
they have, and they'll go to whether it's Morgan Stanley, whether it's J.P. Morgan. You go to a wealth manager and you give him your money.
You know what,
He's
you're
going to
probably
put
right.
it whichever place he
in
has
the
a
end,
connection
you're
to.
right. It's going to come down to what Steve said: trust. And people that are honest and honorable.
Consistency.
I think that consistency. I think that without the word trust, there's nothing. And if people can see that you're caring, you're taking the time to answer a question, you show that you're there for them, even if you may not get a check or whatever. It doesn't make a difference, because eventually that person's going to come around and say, I get this all the time. People are like, I can't believe you called me back. Like, what, out of your mind?
Why
I'll
would
call
I
you
say?
back.
No.
Because you're the only one that will call me back. I've been with 5 different places, and you talk to a computer, you talk to a chat.
Someone sends you an email back 2 days later.
Yeah, you get some moron sending an email back. I thought, that's not who I am. And we know that. So I hold myself different. Okay, and I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many people in my life told me, never give out your phone number to anybody. Don't help people like that. I tell them, get a gun and kill yourself, I tell them.
I agree.
Love it.
I agree.
That might be the name of the episode.
Yeah, get a gun and kill yourself.
Trust, consistency.
There you go.
Trust.
Well,
Or
listen,
get a
either-
gun and kill yourself.
Either way, trade easy,
Thank you, brother.
awesome. We'll talk about it more offline.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, and we're excited to have you. We appreciate you coming down here.
I love it, man.
Absolutely.
I'll do this all the time, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I
We'll
told
definitely
you,
do it again in the
as long
future.
as there's oxygen flowing, you have no problem with me, brother, talking.
This is great. Thank you very
All
much.
right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.